Hey there, friends. What is going on? My name is Rabbit, and welcome to episode 160 of Let's Play Jade Cocoon 2, where we are continuing to explore the bonus content unlocked for us here in the post-game. In our last episode, we continued making our way through Earth Lurker. We got into a quick scuffle with Gil, and honestly, I shouldn't call it quick because it was rather painful, where he was spamming Add Moomer Night, which you guys are well aware, I am not a fucking fan of sudden death spells. So I'll just leave it at that. I might have raged a little bit, but we were victorious at the end of the day, so I suppose that's really all that matters. Now, as we were approaching the final, I guess really this is the last Ogre Vine available on Earth Lurker before we are being sent forward into the level 3 Earth Forest, we did once again run into someone who had taken a job posting to defeat us. This time it was Cure instead of Gil, so I don't know who's got the target on Kahu's back, but we have been successful thus far in dodging the arrow, so hopefully we will see ourselves be victorious here as well. So I'm not even going to play with her. I'm going to start out with the Steel Wall book. I feel like just from the struggle bus that we fell off with Gil, I don't want to be dragged all the way back on. So we're gonna take this one step at a time and pray for our own level of hacks. So how are you guys doing? That's everything that happened in our last episode. Oh my gosh, her fucking team packs a bit of a wallop. I am not feeling that. Ooh, so I might need to be paying close attention to what's going down in my camp. But yes, how are you guys? How is life? Are things good? Living life? Loving the life that you're living? I hope you are. I haven't had too much going down with me lately. I'm trying to think. I guess one little thing, I feel like I'm always ranting to you guys about just people and their expectations and how I don't know. There are days where sometimes Andrew and I will kind of talk about the fact that I am an introvert and like what does he think it would take for me to maybe enjoy human companionship a wee bit more. And you know, I thought about this. I genuinely searched my own heart and thought, like, why is it that I don't care that much for interacting with people? Is there something specific that bothers me? Is a part of it just my natural inclination to be in more quieter spaces? And people can't really promise you that, you know? Like, some people are a little higher energy. Some people are not as trustworthy, so you feel that level of anxiety as you're wondering, like, can I trust this individual that I'm sharing this information with or that I'm allowing to observe my life? And I don't know, it's just, I think something that I always have in the back of my mind when I am interacting with people, like, I don't know, do I trust this person? Like, how much can I say? How transparent do I want to be? Things like that, which, you know, maybe it doesn't matter that much as long as you're not, you know, divulging company secrets or your own, like, social security number and things like that. Yeah, it doesn't matter, and I might be overly cautious when it comes to talking to strangers about who I am. And that's the thing that's interesting that Andrew's pointed out to me, that I'm very transparent when it comes to my intentions or my goals or actions that I'm going to take and things that I'm going to do. But he said, like, you just don't usually, with random people you meet, tell them, like, who you really are and kind of what happened in your life so that they can understand why you are the person you are. And if someone genuinely approached me and asked, oh my gosh, you guys had better believe I will tell them 100%. Like, yeah, came from a pretty abusive background, and I think it shaped a lot of my personality in terms of not being, I don't know how to really even word this, because I would consider myself to be approachable, and I love people, and I would do anything for my friends. And I think a lot of people that know me will tell you that I am very genuine, and that if someone needs something, even if it's money and I feel like I shouldn't give it to them, I often am that friend that a lot of people rely on and will come to for things that they feel too ashamed to ask other groups of our friends or other members of our groups of friends to help them with or to do for them or whatever it is. So I consider myself fairly not judgmental, at least to the extent that I will not hold something against someone else, even if I disagree with the choices that they made that led up to the situation they're in, you know, whatever. But with all that being said, even though I do love people and I love helping and I love, changing people's perspectives on things and bringing about heightened awareness to issues or bringing about positive change in their life, there's a part of me that doesn't really want to receive that back. Like, I don't necessarily like being vulnerable to people myself, even though I appreciate when people are vulnerable around me and trust me to do right by them, if that makes any sense. So it's an interesting dynamic, and it's an interesting situation where I consider myself exceptionally trustworthy, and I have a lot of people that would say the same, and they do approach me with a very extreme level of genuine hurt and genuine need and genuine transparency, and I will approach them with most of that, but I don't know, I just don't seek the same level of aid that I am comfortable with people seeking from me. And part of that's me, and I can already hear some of you, and Andrew tells me this all the time, where he's like, but some people are like you in that they like that, and it's healthy for you to not always be the one acting as the savior for your friends. Like, that's why you get burned out, and that's why sometimes you've come to dread interacting with other people, because you're the one that's always carrying other people's burdens. You're the one that's always letting people vent to you and letting them be crazy. You're the one who's always forgiving them for things, and it would be healthy for you, even if they don't necessarily want that, you to tell them what's going on in your life, and you to be crazy to them sometimes, and just you taking from them at least a fraction of what they take from you. Like, it's just so important for your own peace of mind and possibly the foundation of the relationship you have with them.
Nice shot.
Aw, thanks, Kior. Thanks, baby girl. So, I don't know. Those are kind of Andrew's thoughts, that he just feels like I give significantly more than I take, and sometimes it's fine, and there are seasons, I know even just in our own marriage, where you're gonna go back and forth. Like, you're gonna have friends where maybe historically they do take more than they give, that's just who they are, and you gain something else from your relationship with them. But I think there needs to be a point where at least once in a while, you as the giver have time to refill. And usually how I refill myself is just by withdrawing and spending time alone and doing my own thing. But it's not from them. Like, I don't draw from them. I draw still from myself. And so I think that's something that bothers Andrew a little bit. But I say all of this, and I know most of you who've been watching me for a while already know this about my personality, that I am outgoing to an extent that I am very gracious when interacting with people, and I'm very hospitable. Everyone's welcome. I don't know, I just love helping people, and I feel like I try to be the change in the world that I want to see, and the expectations that I have for humanity, I hold myself to that and accountable for that. And oh my god, I don't know if you guys heard this, coming back to some shit I talked about in our last recording session, my loud, obnoxious, asshole neighbors dropping shit as usual. I'm still salty about that, by the way, if you can't tell. But I will not go down that path, because I will stay fucking mad about it. But anyway, so stupid, loud, upstairs neighbors aside, and backstory about myself aside, even though most of you are probably aware of all of these little points that I brought up, something that happened recently kind of solidified again for me when I was talking to Andrew about this, like why I just typically don't like to mess with people. So when we had first moved to Wisconsin, I had gotten to know this lady who is a social worker, and she's very nice, and, I feel like she was very caring and considerate, and it was obvious from the beginning that she valued my friendship a little more than I necessarily valued hers, which isn't, again, a bad thing. I, as an introvert, I'm drained by companionship. And although I love people, I don't want to always be around people. But she was exceptionally extroverted, and this other girl that was close friends with her and kind of like her business partner, just this little young girl that she could take advantage of, if I can just be totally honest, they really liked me.
Oh, that was a tough one. Just barely survived. survive.
Oh my gosh, she's looking hella serious about all this. But anyway, they really liked me, and I think they enjoyed my company more than I really enjoyed theirs. And it wasn't to say that I didn't see what good people they were and appreciate what good people they were, but I just, seeing them once every 2 weeks is fine with me, or once a week is fine with me. I don't necessarily want to always be surrounded by people. It's just not who I am. And I feel like if someone genuinely does want to be my friend, that has to be something that you accept about someone else. And that's been a bit of a determining factor for me as well over the years with regards to who is worth my time and who is not. If someone can appreciate who I am as a person, or at least the pieces that I let them see and let them get to know, then that, in my opinion, makes them more worthy of knowing fully who I am. Does that make sense?
Oh no, they got us. But it was a good match.
Actually, it was pretty boring, Cure. You didn't bring anything to the table, although I was expecting you to. So I don't know what happened in her camp, but we will take our XP and move along.
So you beat me. Well, it was fun anyway. It was okay. All right. Fight at the arena next? I'm gonna get you next time.
Whatever you say, sweet thing. We'll talk to her one more time, and then we will just keep on going.
Oh well. More haste, less speed. Gotta cancel this job.
You sure do, because you got your ass whooped. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense. I just feel like, if someone can't handle simple parts of who I am, then why should I even waste my time trying to let you understand more of the intricacies behind who is Rabbit? I don't know, I've met so many people that say like, oh yeah, like they find me maybe entertaining or friendly or whatever it is. And on those grounds alone, they think, oh yeah, I want to hang out with this girl, either because they know I'll put up with their bullshit more so than other people would, or I don't know, they see potential for us to be good friends. But when push comes to shove and I need space or I don't want to hang out all the time, they take it personally, and it's so uncomfortable for me, because I feel like I told you this from the beginning. I'm so straightforward with people about that part of who I am, because I've seen over time that people tend to misinterpret introversion for either being stuck up or thinking you're better than others or just not being friendly. I don't know. It's so weird, because I truly do believe that most people would describe me as being exceptionally friendly and welcoming and warm, but there probably would be one or two people that would say like, oh yeah, Rabbit might be nice and she's really thoughtful and gracious and considerate, but she never wants to spend time with anyone. And even saying it out loud, to me, I don't see why that's necessarily a bad thing, but I know even just in my own family, it was a huge point of contention between me and my mother that she was very outgoing, and a lot of people in my family were just very loud and a little obnoxious, if I can be honest, and I don't like a lot of loud noises. I don't really like being around large groups of people. I prefer like 2, maybe 3 people tops being around me, especially if there's going to be a lot going on. Like, yeah, if it's like a classroom setting, obviously I consider myself to be an exceptional teacher. I've gotten nothing but positive reviews for the most part over the years that I've been educating, and that's across the board. Like, that's high school level, that's university, that's community college, that's adult education classes. Like, I think I'm the kind of person that has a fairly strong presence, and I think people do feel as though I am warm and welcoming. And I'm picking up these mugworts, so I kind of want, not mugworts, these stones. So I kind of want to be using up some of these. Oh, I guess I don't have any. Mel's Liquors. Maybe I should have held on to those Mel's Liquors ones, but they were garbage. So, a beast hunter.
Fight with us in the Holy War.
Yeah, you bring that up so suddenly.
Oh, you're saying the same shit that you guys always do. We're just gonna skip on through his bullshit and get to the good stuff. Oh!
Here goes. I'm not losing either.
Well then, shall I boost defense first?
I don't care what you do first, but that sounds a little nasty how you put that, bro. I Actually, I'm going to start on my water side so that... Oh, he doesn't have anything. What is his deal? Y'all, the juxtaposition between fights with, like, Cure or Gil versus these rando beast hunters, it's insane. Like, this is not even going to be... Okay. I mean, I guess I'll just rotate around so everyone's getting XP. Oh, yeah, baby. Transform for me, friends. Transform for me. So the point of me saying all this, you guys are probably like, Rabbit, we already know you are social to an extent, and you are a great orator. Like, public speaking is easy peasy for me. Like, I don't have a problem with it at all. I actually love presenting, and I love being in front of a classroom, and I love being, like, on the stage. Like, I've done theater for years. So it's not an issue of being shy. It's just an issue of being drained by overwhelmingly large numbers of people for an extended amount of time. That's what gets to me after a while. So anyway, this woman, and I don't want to call her a girl because the other one, she's like 25, so she's not a girl, but compared to this like 39, 40-year-old woman, they, back when we first moved to Wisconsin, I had met them. One was a social worker, and then the other one was just kind of like her personal assistant and her yes woman. They really liked me, and I taught some adult ed classes for her company. And I just, in general, like, I did a little bit of, like, per diem contract work. Like, it was really nothing important. I didn't do that many hours of teaching for her, so I wouldn't say that I was even part-time. I guess just calling me a per diem teacher for her company, it was what I basically did, where they would contract out through another entity, and they needed someone to fill, like, I guess, the education contract of it, or the education portion of the contract. Like, there were different things that she would be signed on to do for these people, and she herself wasn't a teacher, so she needed someone who was. Anyway, minor detail, but I just am trying to set the scene for how I met them. Was technically through work, but not really, because I didn't see them every single fucking day. So I met them, and they were nice, and they were cool, and one of the things that I will say about them was they were always very interested in me, like who I was as a person and what was going on in my life. And I was very transparent about the fact that, like, hey, you know, husband and I are new here. I'm really actually liking the peace and quiet, because I felt like the last 3 years that we were in Colorado, I didn't like it so much, and I wasn't enjoying the atmosphere, not just the city itself, but where I was working. There was just constant nutty shit going on, and people just drained me. And so I did give them snippets of transparency, and not transparency in authenticity, but transparency into more of the depth of who I am as an individual and as a person. Things that usually I just kind of wait until I feel like, okay, if they can accept who I am as a general person, then I feel like you're worthy of knowing more about my past and who I am. So anyway, I kind of skipped that, and I was just like, you know what, one's a social worker, and they're very nice, and it's obvious that they kind of want to get to know me. So yeah, let's give these girls a chance.
My steel wall defense.
Yeah, it's gone. I didn't even pay attention to anything I was doing. I literally was just rotating through, bro. You brought nothing to the table.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Allies and enemies.
Please take this.
Yes, give me number 4. What you got?
You collected them well.
Disolific. I don't know if we've seen this one.
Well then, I hope.
Okay, great. Not to be a bitch and just like skip past him, but at the same time, when they're just cycling through the same 3 conversation pieces, I just am not trying to hear this again. So thanks for the free shit, buddy. I appreciate it. And moving right along. So yes, anyway, these girls, who they were and how we met, you've got all that down. So anyway, I got a random text message, maybe it was like 2 weeks ago, and the woman who owns the business, she asked me directly. She said, hey, I know it's been a while, because like I've been so busy with things, you guys. Like, I stopped taking the contracts for her work, especially like when my dad died in August. I told her immediately, like, so it wasn't even as though she didn't know what was going on with me, but I texted her and I said, hey, I have a lot of stuff going on right now. Please remove me from from any of your contact lists for work-related things because I'm just not going to be taking any extra per diem stuff for weekends. I am going to have a lot on my plate. Plus, even if I didn't have a lot on my plate, I just don't really want to be around people more than I need to. And you guys know, like, I had taken a bit of bereavement leave from my actual full-time job. Like, I needed space. And I feel like someone who really cares about you would respect that, right? So anyway, she paid lip service to it. And then the other girl I texted as well because I was like, hey, I just want to go straight to you and let you know what's going on, that I'm not going to be coming around anymore. Maybe in the future, in a couple of months, I'll think about it, but no promises. I just need space and time right now. Like, that's what I need. Does no one really need the heels? I feel like that I don't want to be holding on to these because I'm not necessarily running out of space. You know what? Whatever. Maybe it's fine for now. We'll get a little closer to our limit for bag capacity. So anyway, I was straightforward, told them what was going on, that my dad passed away and I can't do this right now. So they were fine with it. I got a couple texts over the next couple months where they would, mostly the older one, not really the younger one. She kind of has her own shit going on, a little immature and just living her own life, and that's fine. Like, whatever, I don't care. The older one would text me maybe once a month and say, like, hey, do you want to get coffee, or let me know if you want someone just to come and sit with you and, like, hold your hand and blah, blah, blah. And don't get me wrong, like, that's so beautiful and that's so nice. And that's what I mean when I say that I think that she herself is a very kind person, and you could tell she's a social worker and that she thinks about people. But sometimes her motives, I think, are more self-driven, and it's not for the sake of others. So I told her, like, hey, I really appreciate it, but coming back to things that I've said before, I'm just not that kind of person. I really don't want to have someone just sitting here with me while I cry. Like, that doesn't help me. Having space and time to just reflect and, do whatever I need to do, that is better for me. And if I need someone or something, I will definitely reach out to you. So we had this conversation like 4 times. I think she texted me maybe twice in August after it happened, and I told her. Then she texted me maybe 2 more times in September when I was out of the country. So I told her, like, I'm gone and I'll get back to you when I get back. And I didn't. So I guess I could see maybe where she felt like I was avoiding her. But again, made this very clear. Like, I need space. I'm trying to process everything. I just lost pretty much my only parent because I haven't talked to my mom in years. And this was the only parent that really supported me and did a good job, I think, of being there for me in the best way he knew how. So, fine. I guess I didn't really contact her much in October or November, but then December she started messaging me again and just asking, like, how I was doing, and I was like, I'm fine, I just still need space, and I'm not coming, and I'm not going to sign back up to be like a couple hours per diem for you. I'm busy, and I just don't want to spread myself too thin when I know that I'm still struggling with the healing and recovery process. So come like the 3rd week of January, I think, ish. The timeline, I guess, doesn't matter for this piece. She texts me and she says, hey, this other girl, we'll just call the older social worker, we'll call her Nancy, and we'll call her assistant / whatever, we'll call her Beth. So Nancy said to me, like, hey, Beth and I are going to the Wisconsin Dells, and we would love it if you came too. This is the date, and here's the time that we're all leaving. Do you want to come? I felt like, fine. I'll go with Nancy and Beth to the Dells. It'll be a good time. I don't know if you guys have been there, but it's just kind of like a really cool place here in Wisconsin. Lots of stuff to do, lots of hot tubbing and like water parks. It's an interesting place. And I thought, yeah, sure, fine. Nancy and Beth, we'll go to the Dells. It'll be a great time. So fast forward to, the trip was actually supposed to be in 2 days, I think it's in 2 days, whatever. Anyway, so 2 days ago, so in the past, I was thinking about it. And so I messaged Beth directly and I said, hey, Beth, just wanting to follow up about, no, sorry, guys. I'm like getting ahead of myself. So Nancy texted me 3 days ago and she said to me, like, hey, Rabbit, I just wanted to confirm you're still good to come with us to the Dells. Like, Beth and I are really looking forward to seeing you. And I responded truthfully that, like, I'm really looking forward to seeing you two as well. I think it'll be great. The Dells are a really fun place to be. Maybe this is my fault because I never asked exactly what the occasion was, but I just assumed because every other time we've interacted, it's been exclusively that they just wanted to hang out and see me and talk, and that's fine, and I'm all about that. But I didn't think to ask her that, so the next day I was thinking about it, and I said, I'm going to text Beth and see kind of what's really going on with this, or just, who's driving and all that. So I texted Beth, and I honestly told her, I was like, hey, I was thinking about this trip to the Dells, and I was just curious, are you driving? Are the three of us, like Nancy and myself, going to ride with you? Like, how's this trip going to go? So Beth texted me back, and she said, oh, no, it's a company party. There's going to be like 6 people there, and yeah, we're just getting together, and since technically you were per diem for us, we didn't want to forget about you. Which, again, you guys, so nice, so thoughtful. I understand and appreciate that they kept me in mind and invited me, and I understand that it was a couple days before the event itself, and that I probably should have asked up front, like, what the occasion was. I didn't, though. So when she told me that, I was just kind of like, ooh, okay, thanks for the info. And I immediately texted Nancy, and I said, hey, Nancy, I just finished talking to Beth, and I found out that this was going to be a group outing and a group event, and I'm just still not really in the headspace for parties or events right now, but I would absolutely love it if the 3 of us got together to do something. I even threw in, I was like, I really appreciate how much effort and energy you've put into talking with me and trying to be there for me. I am just not as strong as some other people when it comes to sharing their emotions, so I really appreciate your patience and the fact that you've consistently accommodated my nature. So I feel like that was a very heartfelt text for me to send to her, and I even told her, I was like, hey, if you want to talk about it, like, give me a call, but I just am going to back out of a company party. Like, I'm not even a part of your company anymore. I'm not on your, I guess technically I'm on your payroll because I was just per diem, so you would remove me, I guess, if I got fired or moved away or whatever, but it's like I haven't actively worked for you since, like, before August, because my dad died at the beginning of August, so the last time I even did a few hours for her company was July, like the middle of July. So just remove me. It's been months now. Like, there's no need to still have me on your fucking payroll. So anyway, I sent her like that nice message, and she texted me back almost immediately, and she said, okay, so you only want to see me and Beth? There's only going to be 3 other people, Rabbit. And I felt like that's a little bit of a weird thing for you to say. You already know that I don't really like being around that many people. I don't feel like I should have to, oh my God, this guy is like coming for me. I don't feel like I should have to explain myself to you. I said that I didn't really want to go to a company party. Yeah, I get it. There's only going to be maybe a total of 6, possibly 7 people there. I don't want to go, and I don't owe you an explanation about that when you've known since we moved here that I don't like group gatherings. It's not my thing, and I take complete responsibility for the fact that I didn't ask initially, like weeks ago when you're planning this, but I don't believe that me deciding not to come is going to somehow negatively impact their experience. Like, did you buy me a gift? If you bought me a gift, then just fucking say, like, be an adult and say, like, oh gosh, this is really disappointing. We made reservations already, and I, like, booked something for you. Say that, and then, I'll go. If you tell me, like, that you did something to that extent for me, I get it, and I don't want someone losing money over me, so I will go, and I'll grin and bear it, but I'm just letting you know I'm not going to have a good time. And I feel like if you really are my friend, you should be capable of hearing the truth about me and about those kinds of things. Like, I don't even feel like what I'm saying or doing should be offensive to anyone, but people take personal offense to everything, which is also why I just don't like fucking with people, you guys. It's just too much. Like, I hate playing these games and having to figure out, like, what's okay to say. What do I have to not be fully transparent about? Like, if you are my friend, then you've got to accept that I'm an introvert to a T. Being around you over time will drain me, and there are going to be seasons where I just don't want to hang out with you. I will be there if something is wrong. So, like, if one of them got into a car accident, or I don't know, like was super sick and they texted me and said, I just really need someone to come and help clean my house. Y'all, I've done that for people before. I have like cooked for people before, like just on my way home from work, stop by their house to make them food because they weren't feeling well, and then I go home. Like those types of things. I definitely think my 2 primary love languages would be words of affirmation. I feel like I'm very uplifting and supportive in how I communicate with people. And then I think the other one is, it might be a tie between acts of service and gift giving. I know gift giving is more about like physically handing something over, whereas like acts of service would be doing things for people. But I think because I like giving people the gift of my time, I guess time spent is one too. I feel like those all kind of come together for me, where I enjoy doing things for people that they need. So like practical gifts, I guess. Even thinking about like baby showers. I am the person that I will buy someone like a 200 count box of diapers, which I know some people are like, what? But that's not glamorous. But y'all, it's necessary and it's expensive over time. And I have had so many people tell me like, oh my gosh, Rabbit, that is the best gift I got because I didn't realize how quickly I was going to go through diapers and how expensive they were. So that's like who I am, where I guess I'm just so practical and pragmatic in my approach to things. I mean, that's honestly why I think I'm a scientist. I try not to approach things emotionally and instead look at them like practically. And for me, a practical gift would be a lot of diapers, or like things like baby wipes or something else that you're going to technically need. I don't know. That's just me. And again, I get it that not everyone's that way, and it's good that not everyone's that way. Like you need those friends that are more creative and make like custom clothes or like a dollhouse or whatever for you. Like those things are awesome too, but that's not the type of friend I am. I don't pretend to be that person, and you should never expect me to change who I am for you. If that's what your expectation is, then you're proving the point as to why I don't really want to interact with people, because you gotta just take me for who I am, because I let you know from the get-go what kind of human being I am. So anyway, I guess to wrap up this story, so this episode is not too fucking long as I'm telling you all this, and I will stop moving because we keep getting into fights. Basically, what happened was she texted me back, and I found it a little insulting that she was saying like there's only going to be like 6 people total or 3 extra people there. Are you really not wanting to go? Something else, like a couple other things, but that was the main point of her response. And so I immediately replied, even though I initially was feeling a little insulted. I tried to give her the benefit of doubt, and I just said, I really understand. My expectation was just that it was going to be the 3 of us. I want to emphasize again that I would love for you, Nancy, Beth, and I to get together at some other point, just the 3 of us, and do something. So she texts me back and then says, fine, okay, what's your availability and what do you want to do? And it's just kind of like, actually, if you want me to be honest with you, I don't have a whole lot of availability. I was purposefully setting aside time to do this for you. And to be honest, when it comes to what do I want to do, I don't really want to see you. But of course, I didn't text that back to her. But it's just like, y'all, you gotta overcomplicate something like this. Like, I could understand if the party, this holiday party, there were 4 of us that were going, and then I, at the last minute, like I'm one of the people who's supposed to be driving everyone up there, and I withdraw. Fine. Be mad at me because I'm changing up the entire plan, and logistically I'm fucking shit up because I was going to be one of the drivers, and now you guys have to figure out a different carpooling situation. I literally wasn't affecting this at all. I was going to be riding with someone. I'm assuming that's why I had texted Beth about it. And I don't even technically work for you, so I don't need to be at this party. If this was more of just like a celebration of friendship, then yeah, I get it. So anyway, I will stop drooling on about this. I could talk to you guys about this forever, diary series. And we're over 30 minutes in this episode. So let's go ahead and scale it back. I will finish my thoughts about this entire situation when we come back together in episode 161 and continue making our way through groundwork. So thanks as always for watching, friends. My name is Rabbit, and this is our playthrough of Jade Cocoon 2. Specifically, we are knocking out some of the bonus content here in the post game. So I'll see you guys shortly where we will continue doing just that.